up, everyone? It is I, Zarkon, aka 5th Grade Duelist, and I'm here with Vivek for the YCS 250TH Los Angeles Top 64 DRYTRON deck, baby! So, Vivek, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yep, I'm Vivek. I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! For I think 2.5 years at this point. I started with actually Drytron was my first deck when I got into the TCG, and I've really enjoyed playing it ever since. And glad I was finally able to top a big event with it.
Nice, 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 nice. Is this your first top?
Yeah, I mean I got like 27th place at a regional, if that counts, but this is my first like big top.
Oh, wow. And it's at an event with 3,200 plus people. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I still like can barely believe it.
Okay, great. So let's go through the deck, and then I'll ask you some questions, okay?
Sure. Yep. So
Okay.
I ran a 42 card Drytron list with Chaos Max and Herald of Perfection in it. So for the names, start off pretty standard, 3 Alpha and 3 Zeta.
Okay.
But for the other names, I decided to max out on them because I wanted some more consistency. So I increased Gamma and Delta to play 3 of each. And a lot of people play like 2 or 1 of them, but I really value getting the draw off of Delta. And with how often you get interrupted on Mu Beta, it's really good to have like Gamma in hand.
Okay. I agree.
Yeah. And also like when I was testing with this deck and like playing in locals and just doing test hands and stuff, found it was a little too bricky. So if I'm gonna play over like 12 rounds or so, I want to like have very few times where I open like no names, and it only happened like twice, I think, where I opened like
Okay.
0 names.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Yep. And then for normal summons, I'm playing Choju. This card is absolutely broken. I know people play like Vanity's Ruler, but Choju is like so good. He just gives like so much a card advantage. Um, he doesn't lose to like some board breakers that people are playing, like Dark Ruler, Book of Eclipse, all of that stuff. That's why I decided not to play Vanity's Ruler. And Choju allows you to access Herald of Perfection as well more consistently, and allows you to do Chaos Max through Nibiru, and it's just very good into hand traps in general.
Okay. Great.
Then for the backup normal summon, we have Diviner. I don't always normal summon this on turn 1. Obviously, if you just open like one name plus Ben 10, you're gonna have to normal summon Diviner. But it's really good on the following turns to be able to send Entis or just get another ritual name like Draconit's in rotation.
Okay.
And I have one Lancia. Do you want me to like spread these out or
You can put them
just one?
away.
Okay.
Yeah, so just put them to the side after you talk about them.
Sure. So we have one artifact Lancia with Kashtira and Runic running around. I thought that it was good to have at least just this one copy of it in the main deck. It's also really good to insulate against Called By, which is just one of the few ways that they can stop you once you pull off the Chaos Max lock. So Lancia is just very good. Um, I didn't bother like playing 2 more Lancias in the side deck or anything, because like overall it's not as high impact as I would like it to be, but I think it's just good to have generically. And one Herald of Orange Light because it's at 1, but it's just broken. Sadly, I never really sacked anyone with it over the weekend, but I would definitely keep playing it. It's like the only out to D shifter when you're going second, so gotta have it. Then 3 Ben 10, of course, self-explanatory. Best card in the game, Cyber Angel Natasha. I mean, it's just I can't express how broken this card is. It's a custom card. It does everything. Steal your opponent's Naturia Beast, steal their Castiras, make Boral Sword attack for game. It does everything.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely bonkers. It also saved me from getting burned to death by trap tricks because they used Gravedigger's Trap Hole multiple times, which burns you for 2,000 each time. And so I used Natasha to gain life points a couple times, and I ended up with like 1,050 life points or something, and still won the game. So
Nice.
the life point gain definitely comes up as well. Then the primary win condition for this deck is Magician of Black Chaos Max. Uh, yeah, you're being able to summon this on your opponent's turn, locks them out of all monster effects. They don't even get to attempt to activate them. It's not like it negates them like Featherstorm that you can't even attempt to activate them. And doing it on your turn allows you to play around Nib or just any other hand traps when you can summon it early. It also has another effect if you destroy an opponent's monster by battle, you can like add any spell from your graveyard to your hand. That never really came up for me, but it's just something cool to have. Then Herald of Perfection, I felt that I needed a secondary win condition, because when you end on just Addition of Black Chaos Max, when you just do the lock, you have like little follow-up and no way to really protect against some types of interactions. So, like if your opponent would hold a ghost spell or they top deck like a Gamma or something, they could still potentially stop you from doing the Chaos Max lock, even after you go full combo. And it's also better to have this card into matchups like Labyrinth, because if you do like the Chaos Max lock and they just set 5, you're like, oh, okay, that's not great for me. And with how good Dawn of the Herald is, it allows you to get a Ben 10 back in hand and get another search. So that's like 2 negates right there.
Okay.
And he's a level 6. Yeah. Then we have Draconids, of course. Not much to say about this guy. He's very powerful. He's really good at clearing boards. And also, since he's 4,000 attack, you can just use him as the entire requirement for Magician of Chaos Max or whatever you want to summon.
Nice.
Yep. And for the honorary names, we have 3 Cyber Emergency. Decided to play 3 of this because you can search any of them, including Draconids, and it's just like really good. 2 Nova and 2 Fafnir. So I know there's like some debate on whether you want to play like 3 Nova, 1 Fafnir, or whatever the ratio is, but I actually found myself using the level modulation of this quite a lot. So against Kashtira, you like when they special summon Fenrir, it makes them level 5, which makes it like really hard for them to actually go into Zeus or like do anything that makes it harder for you to OTK them on the following turn. And I even had it come up against Naturia Runic. When they summoned Camellia, I made it level 3. So he couldn't make Beast or do anything good, so he just like synchroed it into Stardust Charge Warrior, which didn't do anything. Like he synchroed Camellia plus Mole Cricket plus Hugin into Charge Warrior, which is like not very good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We have 2 Preparation of Rites. I was playing 3 before in most of my deck lists, but I felt that I was seeing it a little bit too often. But it is just an extremely good card. And then, yeah, Bullish. Purchase any monster in your deck. Why would you not play it? 2 Medionis. I think you do have to play 2, unfortunately, because of Cash and Runic running around. If you don't have access to Medionis at all, you're in a very, very bad spot. And I don't think you can really win against those decks without it. Then the 1 Dawn of the Herald, you can search it off of Choju, but you can also search it off of Zeta whenever you need to. It allows you to add back like Ben 10, for example, and also get the search at the same time. You can also tribute Choju if you need to and add him back to hand just to get an additional discard. It's a very strong spell. Obviously, it can be a brick, but I never really found myself picking on it. And then 2 Dark Ruler. I think I would probably bump this up to 3, actually, because you really need this to beat the Sprite matchup. Their end board is like extremely oppressive. It's also like good into Cash. Obviously, if they play like Forbidden Lance or something, they can stop it. But it's just like a generically really good power spell. And I also put it in because of Naturia. Because if they end on Beast, that can sometimes be annoying to deal with, obviously. And so having this out, I sacked one of my, I think it was round 10. I sacked a Naturia player with Dark Ruler off the top.
Nice.
And it still is Naturia Beast with Natasha, and he just scooped. Yeah. Then 2 Talents. I didn't see it that much, obviously, because I played 2 of it. It kind of underperformed over the weekend, but it's still a really good card. When you're going second into Cash, you definitely want to have it. But even going first, a lot of people are playing Ash. I didn't get to do my classic Called By plus Talents combo that I sack people with at my locals, unfortunately. But yeah. And then, yeah, the 1 Called By, I decided to put it in the main deck because I didn't know if people were going to be maining Shifter, but I did know people were going to be maining Ash, which they did. Got Ash quite a lot. Didn't draw Called By that much, unfortunately. Sadly, didn't draw it when I needed it most, which is in my top 64 match. I got D-shifted, didn't draw called by or orange light, so I pretty much just lost because of that. And then we have Harpy's Feather Duster. This is probably the worst card in the main deck for me. This is what I think I would cut for Dark Ruler. I put this in kind of like, obviously it's good against trap decks. In game one, they're probably not going to have like Judgment or Way of Protecting their back row, but even if you're going second into cash, they're going to have like Forbidden Lance and possibly Imperm and other stuff set for Book of Eclipse.
Okay. So that's the main deck. What about the extra deck?
Okay, for the extra deck, you have the two Diviner targets, so Arclight and Entis. Not much to say about this. I have tried playing without Entis, but I immediately regretted doing that, so I put it back in. Entis is just very good, especially like on turn 3, because when your opponent can't activate monster effects, they can set back row like maybe Book of Eclipse or something that could be problematic to eat through when you're trying to OTK them. So being able to set Entis and force out the back row is just really good.
Okay.
Linkuriboh, I always play Linkuriboh now. I really don't like Anima. Nobody ever plays into it. The down arrow is great. The fact that you can summon back from graveyard is great. And just being able to stop auto damage is also very good. Linkuriboh is amazing. And the Nightmare Phoenix, which has good synergy with Linkuriboh due to the down arrow, so you get a draw once you use his effect. Again, just good for forcing out back row. I would definitely keep playing this. I think it's mandatory. And then 2 Dynamondo. So I know some people play like Nightmare Unicorn and Access Code, but I just played 2 Dynamondo because he's actually just a better Nightmare Unicorn if you think about it. He gets your resources back in deck. Like you shuffle Ben 10 back, which makes your preparation of Rights live, or gives you something to search with Alpha on the following turns, which makes it gives you a lot more push. Dynamondo is just extremely good, and if you fail to OTK, you can always just Chaos Max lock them again on the next turn. And then Boral Sword, I find him a lot more efficient for pushing for lethal than using Access Code. It's because like you're playing Link 2s, Natasha steals something, you have Link 4 right there. Underworld Goddess didn't make this card very much. I think I only made it like once over the whole weekend, but I wouldn't really feel comfortable cutting it because it's just like good at dealing with a lot of problematic monsters. If I played against more Labyrinth, it would have come up more because Lady can be like very annoying at times. But it also is like really, it was good. And the one time I summoned it was against Trap Tricks, and it allows you to stop them from using Qualitea to block your lethal, and it's just kind of annoying for them to deal with. That's it for the links. So for the Xyz, 2 Beta, self-explanatory, 1 Beatrice, self-explanatory, and then 1 Fucho. I usually play Assembled actually because I think it's honestly overall a better card, but in this format you kind of need Fucho to be able to just like attack and make Zeus without getting interrupted, like booked or like banished with the Rise Heart. It also saved me against Mathmech when I got trolled in one of my bubble matches. I just made Fucho, he had no way of dealing with it, and I just killed him on the next turn. And then Downward and 2 Zeus. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Okay, I can go into side deck.
Sure.
Riku Ikara. I think this card is probably mandatory. I would consider main decking it, but like, I don't know, I like having it in the side deck. It's like the only card that is guaranteed to be good against Cash, no matter what they do. Because they have like, they can play around Nib, they can play around Dark Ruler with like Forbidden Lance, they can play around Lava Golem, they can play around Sphere Mode, but they can't play around this, no matter what they do. So that's really the reason why I put it in. And it won me my last bubble match to get into Top Cut. My opponent set up double a Rise Heart, and I just, alright, activate Prep, search Ben 10, trigger both the Rise Hearts, tribute both of them, and now I have a 4500 beater, and I just like killed him.
Nice.
It's also level 1, and you can discard it for Orange Light because it's a fairy. 3 Droll. I didn't end up putting it in that much. I was kind of scared of like Dark World because otherwise you don't really have a way of stopping them from like hand looping us. That's like one of the reasons why I put it in. I was a little scared to put it in against Cash and like Mathmech, which is what I played against a couple times because I know that they were playing Gamma. So getting Gamma like if they search with like sign up mining or small world is pretty risky, and you could just lose on the spot if you get Gamma. So I don't know how I feel about this. 3 droplet. I almost never drew this card, but I do like the idea of putting it in because although it's like not good against Cash, it's good against every single other matchup. Like even against Labyrinth, it's a very strong card. And against Spite, again, it's like you need Dark Ruler or this to be able to deal with their board. Otherwise, you're just not playing through it. They set up like Testudo and all that BS. Then we have 2 Thrust in the side. I mean, it was alright. No complaints about it. 2 Cosmic was pretty good. Didn't need it that much. I mean, I probably should have. I didn't draw it when I got anti-spelled, sadly. So, but I mean, I'm not. I don't regret putting it in. Yes. 2D barrier. I ended up dodging all the branded players, so it wasn't that great, honestly. But if you do play against branded, it's. I mean, you kind of need this. But this card could also be like Grave of the Super Ancient Organism, which is also like good for stopping them from killing you if they hit you with the Gimmick Puppet Lock or anything like that.
Okay.
That's side deck, yeah.
Okay, so that's the deck. You said for your tune main. Obviously 15 side, 15 extra deck. So why don't you tell us how the cast matchup is? Because we look at the list and like you have some outs for a Rise Heart, but it's not necessarily something that you might draw like all the time. So how did you do with Cash?
I won the die roll against them, but no, jokes aside, like when you're going second against them, really the game plan is like this is part of the reason why I also played 20 names. You basically need to like spam bodies on the board and make Fucho, because they're gonna keep trying to remove your stuff. Like if you don't draw a Dark Ruler or Talents or any way of dealing Kurikara, anything like that, you need to commit bodies to the board and stick Fucho, and then just make Zeus. That's really the game plan going second. I mean, it's pretty unfavorable, obviously, if you lose the die roll, but I don't think there's any way of getting around that, aside from main deck and Kurikara, but I just felt that it was a little too mid into other matchups to do that.
Yeah, definitely. Kitty cat.
Okay.
Okay. Do you kind of want to talk about what were some of your hardest matchups and easiest matchups?
Yeah, okay, so the overall matchups, I'll just walk through the list of them. Round 1, I got a no-show. You take those.
Nice.
Yep. Round 2 was against Cash. Round 3 was, I think it was the Kaiju deck. It was like 8-axis OTK. I mean, I don't really know how to describe it. They just spammed Dangers and Kaijus, but they weren't able to kill me without using monster effects, so that was a pretty easy one, I would say. Round 4, I lost to Mathmech, so I won the die roll in that matchup, but I played into Nib. It's like he had Imperm. I thought he might have Nib, but because like he was kind of suggesting that he might have it with his body language and whatnot. But I made a mistake of searching Lancia instead of another ritual, which would allow me to make Dynamondo regardless of the Nib. So I got punished by that, unfortunately. The one time I didn't play around Nib, I lost to it. And then game 3, he hit me with Anti-Spell, and he also searched Droll with Small World, so there's no way I was going to win that one. Yeah. Round 5 was the mirror match. I won the die roll, so I won. Not much to say there.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Yeah. Round 6 was against Adventure Sprite. Dark Ruler came in clutch. I also ended up putting Kurikara in because like I saw that he was like using Toad during standby phase to summon Dupe Frog, because it gives him like a way to protect Testudo from getting hit over. But you contribute over that with Kurikara and then Dark Ruler and then add the combo. You need like multiple board breakers probably.
Okay.
Yep. Round 7 was against my friend who was on Trap Tricks. He's really good on the deck. He's been playing the deck since it originally came out, so it was pretty tough. But I ended up sacking him with Talent Straw 2 into 2 names, and then just I think I set up Zeus plus Draconids, so that he can kill me.
Nice. Feels good, man.
Yeah, feels good. Runic Naturia. That's when I top deck Dark Ruler and then still is that beast. And then game 3 I just Chaos Max locked him, I think. So that was pretty good. Then yeah, round 9 was the biggest brick that I had. Well, I didn't draw no names. I drew one name. It was like my hand was like Nova plus Orange Light plus Harpies plus Talents plus like Dark Ruler or something. It was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
So I lost game 1. Game 2 I locked in with Chaos Max. Then game 3 I just didn't draw the out, unfortunately. Just sometimes how it is.
Mm-hmm.
He set up his full combo. Yep. And then against Mathmech, so yeah, round 10 was against Mathmech. Chaos Max locked him game 1. Game 2, I lost a Super Factorial. And then game 3, I got trolled and ended on Fucho. And then he kind of got tilted. He wasn't expecting Fucho. I don't think he knew that the card existed. So he made like access code plus update jammer. I'm like, okay, cool. And he went to battle phase. I'm like, all right, Fucho effect to protect. And then, yeah, on the next turn, I just killed him.
Okay.
And then round 11 was the only time I played Labyrinth. I think it's actually a very favorable matchup. I don't think you need to play any nonsense like Gravity Dragon or anything like that. It's actually just a good matchup for us. He did like on game 1 he did Skill Drain plus Gozen, which does not that much. I just made Draconids and OTK'd him. Game 2 he just had Skill Drain and I think Compulse or something like that. And I just Natasha stole his lovely and it OTK'd him anyways. Yeah.
Nice.
Then top 64, yeah, it was against Cash. So I lost the die roll, but he actually just bricked. He hard bricked game 1. So I actually OTK'd and I was feeling good about myself. But then game 2, he goes full wombo combo. Game 3, he shifters me and I don't draw the out. So I make Fucho. And then, because that's the only thing I can do, I pass turn him, he kaijus it, so everything gets banished. And then he cash combos me, so I'm like, alright, I'm done.
Oh, wow. Was that versus Jesse?
No. The other DRYTRON player played against Jesse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the other DRYTRON list is very, very different from mine. It is interesting.
Yeah, I'm not sure where it is, but I would love to check it out too.
It plays a lot more hand traps in the main deck, and it plays like some spice in the extra deck.
So nice. Nice.
Yeah, I don't know the DRYTRON player, but
yeah. I will hunt him down.
Okay.
Leave a comment if you know who he is. Tell him I'm looking for him. Okay, great. Is there anything else you want to talk about or share with us about your deck or your experience at the YCS?
Yeah, I was considering playing other decks going into it because I wasn't sure about DRYTRON. I mean, it's my favorite deck. It's what I've played the most by far out of anything. But I was thinking oh, maybe I should play Branded, maybe I should play Lab, but none of them just felt right. I felt like with Lab you draw bad hands way too often. Like I drew Lovely literally every time I played that deck. You just draw Lovely in your opening hand. It's like a rule. And then Branded, I felt that I was losing to Ash a little too much. I mean, sometimes they can play through it, but it's too impactful, I think. And it's also just way harder to play for no reason. It's so easy to just forget end phase triggers and stuff that could just lose you the game. I don't think it's a good choice for the long tournament. So I ended up sticking to my guns, thankfully. I felt that with people playing stuff like Evenly, Dark Ruler, Book of Eclipse, all of those cards are horrible against the end board that I make, which is just the Chaos Max lock. And I end on one monster, Herald of Perfection. That's it. It's going to be there, so I see Evenly.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, that was also one of the reasons why I decided to play it. So I'm glad I ended up sticking with it and did well.
Do you have any shout-outs?
Yeah, shout-outs to Team Peepo Rebo. That's our team, I guess. It's not an official, because we're all broke, but yeah, that's our whole team. Shout-outs to everyone who slept on the deck and left it off of their tier lists.
Hell yeah. I remember.
Not just one, 2 of us.
Yeah, I really wanted to play DRYTRON, but I was convinced out of it. It feels bad. Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good.
But,
Maybe
We'll
Hungry
see.
Burger DRYTRON will be even better.
Dude, I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Are you gonna go to any other YCSs or Nats? Wait, what country are you from?
Oh, I'm from the U.S. Yeah, I
Okay,
live in
yeah.
California.
Yeah, so are you gonna go to Philly or Nats?
Well, they changed the date for Philly, didn't they?
Yeah.
So I don't know about that, but that's I'm definitely gonna try to go to. I don't know what the format's gonna look like by then. I hope Cash gets nuked out of existence, um, and I hope DRYTRON's still decent by then. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see
But
what's
yeah,
up.
definitely gonna try to go to Nats.
Yeah, I'm looking into Purely right now.
Hmm.
They can draw
Yeah,
6. I'm not sure how. I'm trying to figure that out right now.
they can draw 6.
Yeah, on the
Or
opponent's turn.
Sartix can draw 7. So I don't know.
Or Sarctic Drytron! Hell yeah!
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, one more thing. Did you see the new Drytron card?
Yeah. Yeah.
What
I
do you
mean,
think of it?
at first I thought it was like pretty nice, but then I realized you can't tribute Ben 10 for it, so I'm like, I don't know. It's like level 7, right? And it's like all
Yeah.
water, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what I was thinking was like if they release a new Drytron spell or trap that's like really good, then it can be a good card. Right now I'm like not really convinced.
Yeah. I do like the negate trap.
Hmm.
But like, you know, I
Yeah.
need to like think more about it.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much. I'm gonna end the video. Please like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/fifthrateduelist. I stream Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Sundays. And sometimes Saturdays, and sometimes Thursdays. It really just depends. Just show up. Just turn on notifications and be there. Please. I beg you. And, yeah, Drytron best deck!
Drytron best deck.